So we've been offline or off teaching for a couple weeks while our wonderful creative director and our photographer has been on vacation. She's back, so welcome back, T. And catching everyone up in the external community or our extended community, we've been studying the feet, which, as you guys know, is one of my favorite topics. We've been studying 3 aspects of keeping yourself healthy and attention to your feet. One is the physiology of your feet, going barefoot and getting a little more power and in your center and good balance and also good posture from rooting down more and less crunching with the toes and just basically going barefoot more and training your feet to become stronger and support you better. And then the second week, we talked about the energy of the planet and earthing and how we need to connect to that, to ground to the earth in order to stay healthy and to get the negative ions. We're going to come back to that today. And then the third week, we talked about the Wonder Woman stance, again with Amy Cuddy, the social psychologist, the power stance. And I was saying we always talk about from the waist up, like up dog, doing the power stance when we really believe in something, we want to be confident, we want to be successful. But really, if we take a full look at that stance, it starts from the ground up and how you're rooting down into the ground, the depth of your roots and your caissons that create that power stance that we study every year here at the Shala. So I want to come back this week to earthing because it's worthy of continuing on a little bit, and I want to promote the book Earthing, which is on our homepage. You guys can order it there. I have so enjoyed this book, and I don't feel this way about a lot of books, but I'm reading it slowly because I'm basically highlighting the whole book, and I'm doing it while I'm standing in dirt, by the way, at my house. I'm reading the book, and it's one of those books as you read, you just kind of want to share it with everybody. So, so if you do share it with everyone, make sure you put your name in it or buy copies for your friends. But I wanted to start this class off again, a little, review of what we've been doing and talking about. Your homework 2 weeks ago was to go walking outside barefoot, which is super easy for us because we're right across from the ocean. And I even put some sunscreen in the bathroom, so if you guys want to go earthing after class, you can put some sunscreen on. But how important it is that we, of course, get in nature, we know all that, but that we're actually in dirt, grass, sand, rocks. The ocean's one of the best places where we can actually ground ourselves and take in some of those ions, that electricity that we need to function on this planet. So I just want to try to get you guys excited about walking barefoot for at least 5 minutes a day. It can be anywhere, but I highly suggest the ocean is so beautiful, because here are some reasons why earthing will change your life. And this book, by the way, is filled with research and examples of people that have had all different kinds of disease and illnesses that have cured themselves or gotten themselves out of chronic pain through this simple, free technique called earthing. So I'm going to read you the benefits of going barefoot every day outside in the dirt. Rapid reduction in inflammation. That's the #1 thing. This book is primarily starts off by talking about inflammation and has a graph just showing how every year we increase the inflammation in our bodies and our lifestyle. The second one is rapid reduction of or elimination of chronic pain. And the third one is dynamic blood flow improvement to better supply the cells and tissues of the body with oxygen and nutrition. The fourth one is it reduces stress. And the fifth one is it increases energy. And the next one is it improves your sleep. It's all true, it's written down in front of me. And the last one, it accelerates the healing from injuries and surgery. And if I told you guys I had a new like a pill on the market, like a supplement that did all these things, I guarantee you everyone would be buying this supplement, but it's so easy, it's free, it's just going out and, we talked about, this is for our extended community because I know you guys have been with me in the teachings, but we talk about how all the things that we have now that make us comfortable are also the things that are making us weak and sick because we're not out there connecting with the environment and being exposed to things that challenge our immune system and our bodies. So one of the best things that we can really do is to reconnect with the planet, reconnect with our own bodies, instead of, I go from one climate-controlled box into another climate-controlled box with 4 wheels, and then I go to another climate-controlled box at home or at work, and we're constantly just keeping ourselves in the state of homeostasis instead of actually challenging that. So I was going to read you more today, but I don't think I have enough time to read you some of the science around the electricity in the planet and how we can ground ourselves to the planet and bring that in and do all the things it said. So get the book and read it. It's fabulous. I guarantee you want to share it with some other people. So then I'm jumping into Casper's book, The Mind Lift, into a few chapters ahead of where we were to kind of keep going on the same lines. And this chapter is about focus on enlarging your comfort zone instead of being out of it. So I bring this back to the week before. We were talking about the power stance and rooting down through your feet and being confident and taking risks and kind of being out there in a bold and a big way. And the example I want you guys to think about is, again, as this is your training mat, your yoga is training for yoga, but also for life. Casper's example is, again, we've gotten kind of overly comfortable, and part of us getting comfortable is us being safe and being the same. So he uses the example of when we were sort of our primitive self and we were hungry, we would go to the berry bush and we'd reach out for the berry, and all of a sudden we heard this rustle, rustle, rustle on the bush, and we're like, oh, a bear. And so what do? You back off, right? It's like the berry isn't more important than the bear, right? Eating me. So it's an example of how we're designed as human beings. So then we stop going to reach for the berry because it's dangerous, because that takes us out of our comfort zone. And if we think about this example in so many different areas of our life, it's a way that neocortex, as we've been studying as well, starts to say, there's bears in the bushes, there's bears in the bushes, and we start to live our lives more in different things that happen to us, pulling ourselves into, Casper uses a circle of the comfort zone, as we pull ourselves into that internal part of that circle, which is our comfort zone, and not reaching out of it. But you guys are Ashtangis, and you're here at the Shala with our dedication here on the wall because you guys want to continue to challenge yourself, and you want to continue to grow, and you want to take risks. And I want to say, as much as Casper really does a good job at talking about how we're sort of built to protect ourselves, and this thing naturally happens, at the same time, we're really built for danger. We're built to take risk. We're built for action. We're like action figures. We do better when we're in movement and when we're in action, and we do better when we're out there like loving and getting our hearts broken, right? We're designed for all that. So when we get too much into that inner circle of our comfort zone, we're actually not as happy. We're not as healthy. That's what we're seeing with this simple example of the feet and getting out into nature and all that stuff. In every aspect of our life, if we're just playing it cool and playing it safe and living here, we're not fully experiencing what we were designed to. So in yoga, what's so fun here as Ashtangis, because you guys, this system is actually designed to continue to challenge you. For you to continue to challenge yourself on the mat. And we always say to look at the learning curve is steep, right? So when you're learning something new, like all of you are learning handstands maybe, you don't come in here and you can't just do it right away. You do it and you fail, and you do it and you fail, and you do it and you fail, and you're like, oh, I'm never going to be able to do it. And if you're going from not all the way into danger, I always say we don't want to be in the danger zone, so you don't want to hurt yourself or others, right? But you want to move that direction out of your comfort zone to try to challenge yourself. So I try to give you guys different techniques and ways to do handstands where you go out of your comfort zone a little bit and you challenge yourself, because if you don't, what happens is, we showed this, this might not work with this microphone on, but I showed the example of you always do handstands in like this, because this is a very safe zone. It's my comfort zone. And in order for me to go into a handstand, I've got to go out of my comfort zone and all the way forward, past where my shoulders are, past that point. And maybe I fall when I do that. So I have to figure out a way to fall where I don't hurt myself and I don't hurt the people next to me, right? And such is life. So we're constantly challenging this in our yoga practice. And it's kind of fun for me as your teacher, because I get to try to facilitate that for you, because what happens, I think, in life is we get to this point where we're like, I'm comfortable, same, this is good, is working for me, And I said that sort of one of the fun things I observe is that when I have a new student, and I tell the new student, like I challenge them, I tell them to do something, usually the new student's like, yeah, okay, right on. And if I have a student that's been with me 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, and I tell them to do something like, you know, I am something new or whatever, they're just like, yeah, thanks, Di, I'm okay. Right? No, I'm good, really. Right? And it's this whole Buddhist teaching, it's a very universal teaching of the vessel being empty so you can fill it. I want to learn. I want to try something new. Yeah, give me something new to do. Or you're like, no, my vessel is full. I'm good. Right? I see that with some of my older students all the time, you know, but really my job is harder for me working with people that have been with me for a long time, is to find ways to actually inspire you guys to want to change, to want to try something different. We so want to come back to that comfort zone. You know, that's where I'm comfortable. But it's also, I want to read something that Casper wrote because it's so simple and Casper brilliant. And I think you guys will all relate to it. The sound might have been off, T, doing weird stuff. This means, and this is about the person taking the berry off the bush with the bear. This means you are evolutionarily wired to take a negative outcome much more seriously than a positive one. This ties into the comfort zone versus the danger zone idea pretty strongly. It's safe to say, with what you know, than to venture out into the unknown that might be filled with danger. Through this, though this keeps you safe, it also keeps you the same. Though this keeps you safe, it also keeps you the same. A ship is safe in the harbor, but that's not what ships are for. So I come back to what you were designed for, what you're here for, is really to learn and to grow and to take risks and to challenge yourself. And I really consider it an honor that you guys choose to come here to the Shala, and I get to be a part of that path for each of you to, like, you know, get you to challenge the same a little bit, you know. So this week for your homework, I want you guys to draw that circle somewhere. I actually drew it on the bathroom for you on our little whiteboard to remind you that this week, try something different on your mat. Like, I'm asking you guys to lift your toes, and some of you, it's just, I remember once I'd been studying with Tim Miller for years, and I had always been in Chaturanga with my shoulders slightly dropped down. And really it was a way for me of being safe on the yoga mat because it didn't challenge me. It kept me kind of weak. And one day after all these years, he took a brick and put it under my chest and made me lift my Chaturanga. And I'm like, really? Here I was, the full vessel, like, I've been working with you for all these years and now you're gonna bust my chops and make me change my Chaturanga? And you know what? I did it. I worked hard every day, every week for a month until I literally changed. As part of my posture changing is taking a forward Chaturanga into an open, stronger Chaturanga. But that was me getting out of my comfort zone. This is just an example that all of you can think about for yourself. That was one way I had to do something different and get out of my comfort zone, and it completely changed the way I practice. So choose something on your mat. And if you can't think of something, ask me. Of course, I can help all of you come up with one thing that you can do. Even the way you come into headstand or something at the end of your practice, but to challenge something in your practice, because this is our training ground. And if you can change something on your mat that you've been doing same, comfort, no, I'm good, you can do that outside of these doors too. And you can find in your life where you're just in your comfort zone, because that works for you. And ask yourself, let's take it out of there a little bit. So I'll finish by saying on the little diagram at the end of this chapter, he has the Casper diagram that says comfort, and then at the top is danger, and in between I really love what he says. What does he say is in between, like moving out of comfort? Magic. And I see that. I mean, of course I've experienced it, but I see you guys work on something for a really long time, and then one day, we'll use Gina as an example. She's been working on her handstand, and one day I just see her floating in the middle of the room. And she comes out of that, and you can imagine the smile on her face and how happy she is, but it makes you believe, like, wow, I did it. I can do this, you know, and it's powerful stuff, you know. So we're gonna challenge ourselves a little bit and Get a little magic. So our quotes for this week. By Annis Nin, of course, one of my favorites. And the day came when the risk it took to remain in the bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. And your challenge for this week is, this week, focus on enlarging your comfort zone instead of being out of it. Samastitihi.